Franklin, Virginia 23851, 1960s and 1970s. Hello, it's Charlie and my master just sitting here sipping on some Seagram's gin. We've decided to take a trip down memory lane, just as soon as we find a place to begin. During the decades of 1960 and 1970 would be a very good place to start. Since my master was born and raised in this period of time, the reflection will be mostly on his part. Franklin, Virginia from back in the day reminded me of the Andy Griffith Show, featuring Mayberry. It was a small town in the South where neighbors were friendly and no one was in a hurry. There was a police department that was not of a large force. As far as black representation, Clarence Hart was the only source. With respect to the crime rate, it wasn't all that high. Once, my master was detained because he stole some meat that his mother sent him to buy. When my master first came into this world, his place of birth was on Stonewall Street. If you got a little time, some of his neighbors, I would like for you to meet. Many of his daddy's people inhabited houses that were side by side. Whether it was his grandmother, aunts, uncles, or cousins, they all applied. Excuse me, if I happen to talk in first person. After all, my master and I are one in the same. My master is called Bryant, and for those that do not know, Charlie is my name. Stonewall Street is where my master would get his hair cut. At least twice a month, to the barber shop, he and his brothers would strut. Stonewall Street is where he went to church to receive the word from the good book. New Mount Zion was the place of worship, and on every Sunday, all of us, mother took. Even when he moved away, Stonewall Street always attracted my master back, because of the love that came from his cousin, Diane, uncles, Doc and Newt, and his Aunt Willie. He wanted to keep it on track. Although it wasn't noticed at the time, Franklin was a segregated place. There were white folks and black folks, and each of them had their own little space. S.P. Morton is the school where my master got educated up to grade 3. In the first grade, he was held back because his teacher felt that he wasn't ready to be set free. I must admit, because it is true, my master was a rowdy young fellow that was always in trouble. That time, when he chiseled on himself, I don't know why they didn't send him home on the double. Franklin Upper Elementary School was on the white folks' side of town. From the 4th grade to the 6th grade is how long my master hung around. Somewhere during that period of time, he had a crush on a little white girl named Diane Gay. Whenever they got together, they would often laugh and play. While living on Mariner Street, my master and a neighbor named Rex Lee brought harm to a cat. What they did to it, they shouldn't have done that. Growing up in Franklin, Virginia, during the 60s and 70s, was a very good time for my master. It is very amazing how he avoided any type of major disaster. As a young boy growing up, my master had a lot of freedom in roaming about the neighborhood. He stayed out of trouble because he came from a family that raised him good. My master was a child that loved being outside. He was a tough little monster that rarely cried. Along with his friends, they would go down to the Blackwater River and fish for most of the day. If not that, they would go to the duck pond and get into the water and play. When in need of cash, my master found many ways to put a jingle in his pocket. He would go door to door collecting soda pop bottles, and then he would sell them to the market. He would do yard work for any of the neighbors that were looking for someone to hire. While living on Mariner Street, he witnessed a friend's house catch on fire. Did you know that my master was a newspaper carrier that had his own route? That is what I'm told. Did I tell you that my master froze his ass off in the winter when it was very cold? Whether it was baseball, football, softball, or even croquet, my master actively participated in the sports. Now that I think about it, he really did get busy. on those basketball courts. Although my master had plenty of friends, the Cowan brothers were the tightest in his herd. They did everything together and not a single one of them was scared. While living on Wilson Street, that 315 address brought shame to the both of us. My master was so truly affected that on the other street he would catch the school bus. Once, my master got a hold of some beer and he drank it as though it was the norm. An hour or so later, he was found behind a couch, sleeping up a storm. Today, when my master sees his boys playing rough, he quickly intervenes. I don't understand why he can't relate, especially when he went through the same scenes. Because of his roughness, he busted his head and on another occasion, he split open his knee. My master done been there and done that. For it to happen to his boys, he rather not see. I know, it may seem like my master is hypocritical and in a large sense, it is true. Times were much different back in the day and much of the neighborhood knew of you. As a young boy, growing up, my master grew into manhood with all the right values in place. He is considerate, caring, and respectful to everyone, regardless of their race. On behalf of my master, we would like to thank Franklin, Virginia, for allowing us to grow, for providing an atmosphere where harmony foremost could steadily flow. There is so much more I could talk about and I will, in other writings that will come my way. With that said and done, I wish you to have a very good day. December 21, 2004.